Hello Internet, I am InsaneLayne and I was 14 years old when the first Resident Evil movie came out. I was aware of the game's existence, but I didn't know anything about them. As I've said before, I'm a Nintendo girl and not into shooter games, so I had never played any of them. But I knew they were a big hit and they had a very big following. The movie itself was very hyped for several reasons. It was a big risk at the time. It was a movie based on a video game, and whoever heard of that? So little confidence did Hollywood have in the idea that the filmmakers had to go to Europe for financing and filming. Then the movie came out, and it opened big. Really big. The series itself is now a member of the $1 billion club. Yeah, you heard that. The day after its release, several other video game titles were quickly snapped up by studios, including Doom, Silent Hill, and Max Payne. So yeah, you can thank Paul W.S. Anderson for all of those as well. Why did I go see the movie if I wasn't a fan of the games? Few reasons. 1, it looked really cool. 2, Milla Jovovich is hot. 3, I like mystery and horror, which is how it was being promoted. But mainly, it had a really cool poster. Okay, enough stalling. My name is InsaneLayne, and this is Lingering Questions for Resident Evil. God help us all. The first of many, many opening narrations. And it's obvious from the start that Umbrella is an evil company just by being in 9 out of every 10 homes. That's more than Apple can currently claim. And I say currently because it's obvious that Apple is trying to take over the world. They're just waiting until the iPhone 42 to activate their plans. Main character rundown. We'll have Milla Jovovich playing unnamed woman. Really, they never actually say her name in the movie. It's only shown in the credits. We get Michelle Rodriguez as Rain, James Purefoy as Spencer, and Eric Mabus as Matt. No one else matters. 2 of those people don't even matter.
Unknown even to its own employees, its massive profits are generated by military technology, genetic experimentation, and viral weaponry.
No. Several employees know all about it. You just won't be seeing any of them in this movie. Even the ones that do. While it is said that both Alice and Spencer are operatives for Umbrella, they're called security operatives, so how does Spencer know exactly where the virus and antivirus are, and how to operate the machinery to remove it, and have the clearance and/or codes to do so? The details of what security operative means are never explained, but that's likely because the series completely forgets about this after this movie. Who is dissecting this rabbit? And why? And where are they? This room is empty before the alarm sound, so someone just left a half-dissected biohazard laying around? It's kind of amazing it took an act of corporate terrorism to cause an outbreak with people this incompetent working here.
What's wrong with you?
This water isn't going anywhere!
What?
It's a sealed room!
If it's a sealed room, then those people are not infected and the Red Queen has no reason to kill them. And for the first of many times I will ask, why does the room the deadly virus is kept in have fucking air vents that allow it to infiltrate the entire hive? Even the sealed rooms. Why does one elevator crash all the way down, but the second one has brakes so the Red Queen can be all off with her head? Does the Red Queen not control both? Yes, she clearly does, so why is she screwing around with these already dead people? Also, why kill everyone if you know this is a virus that reanimates the dead? Isn't she just speeding up the process? As we learn, a bitten person will take hours, and in later movies, days, to turn and resurrect. Wouldn't it make much more sense to lock the place down and inform outside command of what's happened? And seriously, why would the Red Queen, who in this movie is said to be trying to prevent an outbreak and protect all humanity, not tell anyone outside the hive what has happened so they can respond appropriately? Instead of the dumbass way they actually respond.
Don't remember the truth.
That didn't take long. Expect oh so many of those in this series. Seriously, you have been warned. Alice, whose name is never said in this movie and is only called Alice because once upon a time there was an Alice in Wonderland theme overlaying the whole series. No one can remember why or how this started, and it was scrapped long before filming began, and yet numerous Alice in Wonderland references are still in this movie. And covering her with a see-through shower curtain does not cover the naked. And why bother? Also, there's no shower rod in that shower, so where is it supposed to have been hanging from? It doesn't even have hooks on it. So at this point, she has no memory of who she is, no clue where she is, and no idea what's going on. So instead of curling up in a corner to cry, she decides to wander around the underlit creepy mansion and look at some crows. If she doesn't remember anything, how does she know what lights these switches operate? Ah, the red dress, which being a teenage girl at the time I can tell you influenced the fashion. Asymmetric hems were suddenly everywhere and there seemed to be a ban on pants for girls for a while. And this is where I must call out the series, the first of many times, for shamelessly putting women in skimpy clothing for no reason at all. She is wearing a thin, mid-length, spaghetti-strap dress that sometimes has a black miniskirt or shorts under it. It comes and goes. Compared to Spencer, who put on jeans, a t-shirt, and a heavy leather jacket that morning. And later, we even see Alice outside wearing a winter coat and scarf. She's talking to her contact explaining the plan, and apparently it's on the same day as the events in the movie because Spencer is wearing the same clothes he does in the movie. Why does Matt act like a kidnapper douchebag instead of just saying hello? He does not have amnesia. He knows what's going on. Though it's never referenced in the movie, he was on the phone with his sister when the alarms went off.
It's nothing. Fire drill.
That's why he's come here, to check on her because he believes something has gone horribly wrong, and he's the one who sent his sister to infiltrate Umbrella, which he couldn't do himself because he has a record. Though how he's managed to get into the mansion without setting off alarms or being seen by the people who are about to crash through the windows, I don't know. Great music, but still the stupidest way to enter a building. What's wrong with the front door? Matt got in somehow, and this crew is expecting to meet up with the security operatives and get a report on the situation. So again, why not just knock? And why do their uniforms say sanitation? Why does the team leader think shaking Alice and repeatedly slamming her into walls will make her report? And yeah, let's all take off the gas masks here in the safe place, and we'll take the highly suspicious unidentified guy with us into the super secret lab. And through the looking glass they go. Now for something that's always bugged me. Why isn't the train working? We learned Spencer took the train back to this station seconds before being incapacitated, so did he disconnect the power from the rail? And why would he bother? This is the second most pointless and meaningless fake out ever. What is supposed to have broken that grate open? Nothing ever comes of this, so it's just a fuck you creepy moment for the sake of having a creepy moment. They declare the train safe and clear and then immediately find another person. Do the rings really need to say property of Umbrella on them? So they enter a place known to make bioweapons that is in general a secret lab of evil, and no one is the least bit concerned about what they might be breathing in. And they left the gas masks at the mansion. While I like the idea of the digital maps, I hate how they get used going forward. So we're told the hive has defenses, which is good. But
the hive has its own defense mechanisms, all computer controlled.
Yeah, that's just stupid and would never happen in real life. Because computers are not and never will be perfect as they are programmed by imperfect humans. Also, they can glitch or be hacked. So, no, they would never give a computer complete control and the power to kill everyone and incapacitate people who are miles away. And again, I'll point out just how stupid the Red Queen is. She doesn't want the virus getting out. So she knocks out and erases the memories of the last line of defense? How does this help anything? Shouldn't she have notified Alice and Spencer of what had happened so they could seal the hive and prevent anyone, including this team, from going in? It's because she's erased their memories that they go in. If she had told them what had happened, then when Umbrella came to find out why they've lost contract with the super secret lab, even though they somehow know that everyone is dead and yet they don't know why, then Alice could have stopped them from going in. She could have said, hey, the T-virus is down there. Yeah, everyone's dead, but they're gonna get back up and try to eat you. Let's just close the place off and not go in. And the Red Queen, who controls everything absolutely independently, has so far let them take the elevator down to the train, get the train running. She obviously could have turned off the power. Let them open the door to the hive and just waltz right in, without once trying to stop them. Why are there no bodies in the lobby? There were a lot of people walking around and just generally milling around this area when we first saw it. We're told there are 500 employees here. Were they all somehow in self-contained, sealable, killable rooms when the outbreak happened? Nobody was in a bathroom? Or the hallway? Or walking to somewhere else? Or in this giant freaking lobby? So they get to the flooded labs and have to detour. Apparently there's only one way to get to the main control room.
Why did she do it?
That we don't know. But outside interference is a possibility.
See? He just said he thinks they may have been hacked and that's what caused this. Also, Rain says the whole level is flooded. Except for the part you're standing in.
Kaplan,
Dining Hall B. That's what it says on the map.
maybe you're reading it wrong.
Why is there fog all over the ground? And this is the messiest, most unsecure room of monsters I've ever seen. It's a wonder someone hasn't tripped over one of these hoses and let them out long before now. If it's labeled as a dining hall, did no one who worked there ever walk in looking for a gluten-free Caesar salad with light dressing on the side? And why would they give their own team that they're sending to investigate a faulty map that slows them down? And they still make it to the Red Queen's chamber in minutes despite having to detour multiple times and having a faulty map. And if the Red Queen has defenses, why hasn't she tried to stop them before now? She has the power to open the monster boxes as we see later. So why not just open one or two of them when they're all just sitting around clueless?
The lights are automated. Nothing to worry about.
If the lights are automated, then other automated things like, I don't know, those defenses you mentioned, are still active too. The Red Queen lets them get the door to her chamber open before she tries to stop them for the first time. And the laser corridor. I will admit, I found this scene very impressive. As a teenager. Now, they just look like complete dumbasses since there's clearly space, and they could have just ducked into those gaps, and the lasers would have stopped right in front of them, and they'd be fine until Kaplan can turn it off. Or they could, I don't know, just shoot out the glass walls that the lasers are traveling on so they can't reach them. The grid is way cool, but if you can do that, why not just lead with that? Problem solved. And if the team leader had just taken a couple of steps back, which he clearly has room to do, he would have survived, even without having to hide in the obvious gaps behind him. The laser turns off before completely clearing his body. And he is not pressed against the door, where the lasers wouldn't have reached him anyway. Did nobody on set notice this? Thankfully, the tech guy who can shut down the computer survived, so he can be dumb enough for all of them. Their mission is to shut down the Red Queen, yes, because Umbrella believes something has gone wrong with the software that caused the killing spree. Wouldn't they maybe run some tests on the software, ask some questions, maybe actually talk to the computer, since it is AI advanced enough to hold a conversation with you? Maybe just straight out ask her, why'd you kill everybody? Even when she does appear, she just urges them to leave. She doesn't tell them what's happened. Not one hint about, hey, if you shut me down, the undead will be unleashed on the world. That's kinda need to know.
She's a holographic representation of the Red Queen, modeled after the head programmer's daughter.
Don't remember the truth.
Oh, I will get to that. Oh God, will I get to that.
You're all going to die down here.
Cool line for the trailer, but if she just told them why, maybe they wouldn't have shut her down. And seriously, a top secret lab that has level 5 biohazards only has one source of power, no backup generators, and all parts of the lab are shut down from one central place simultaneously. No fail-safes of any kind. No independent power to the rooms that house the viruses. How did they not cause an outbreak until now? That's all I want to know. So Rain finds a survivor who bites her, and then JD shoots it in the leg, thinking that it is a crazed, living person. But since it's not, I'm forced to ask, why does an undead zombie stop moving when it gets shot in the leg? Why does it pause and seem to, snarl at him? It can't feel pain. How does Matt know what coagulated blood looks like on sight? And yeah, your blood does that after you're dead. But also while you're alive. Hence you don't bleed to death from a paper cut. Why would a zombie be dragging an axe? And while the half-missing face effects are cool, the CG holds up even today and is a lot better than the CG in the rest of the series, how would anyone be that messed up yet? We saw most of these people got gas. There were no zombies yet, so who ate whose face and why? I also like that we see zombies in lab coats, zombies in maintenance uniforms, and zombies in suits, who would all be in different locations in the hive, all arriving together and at the exact same time. I am not the first to say it, but say it I must. This is some bullshit. There's no way he picked up those keys like that, and what even is the point of this grate if it's 1 centimeter deep? How stupid are Rain and Kaplan? After the first few shots, no one stops advancing. Now. We had to do it the one time because it was scary. But now they just get shot and keep moving, like they should have the first time. But these people are obviously crazed, infected, whatever. Why do they not immediately switch to headshots? Rain wanted to kill Matt in the mansion just for being there, and now she becomes the queen of wasting ammo. So they somehow escape back to the Red Queen's chamber, show don't tell movie, and they don't even tell. But the bodies they left in the laser corridor are now gone. I'm told this is a reference to the games where if you left a room and re-entered it, the bodies would be gone. This was due to a lack of processing power at the time. But here, they are backtracking to a sealed chamber. So how did any zombies get behind them? Or get through the door? Into the sealed chamber? And then very quickly finish off the bodies of 4 people, their clothes, their weapons, leave not one speck of blood, and leave the area through the sealed door. They've been out of this room at best a half an hour.
When you cut the power, you unlock the doors. You let them out.
Even at 14, this line pissed me off. He did what you were sent there to do. And you didn't know there were zombies any more than he did, so shut the fuck up. Both why and how is Alice just wandering around by herself after what they've just seen? In a few minutes, they're gonna say they're trapped in the Red Queen's chamber, so how did she get here? Also, she has no memory and has just seen the undead. Would she really go wandering around the super secret underground lab all by herself? Also on the list of things that have always bothered me. Why are the dog cage doors wide open if the dogs chewed their way through the wire like they obviously did? The zombie dogs. Easily one of the best things in the movie. Major points for using real dogs and practical makeup, or rather spaghetti and pizza sauce for the effects. This did lead to the problem of the dogs constantly licking it off each other, but hey, it's not like they're getting paid. Then we see Umbrella branded bullets. This is one of the dumbest things in this movie. Dumber even than the wedding rings. Does Umbrella have a Trump complex? They need to put their name on everything? And we have Matt wandering around alone. And I'll say at least he has a reason to, and memory. But that makes him even dumber, because he knows what was going on down here and has seen clear evidence that something has gone horribly wrong. And he stops looking for his sister to snoop through her desk. And yes, I know, Alice uses an Alice in Wonderland paperweight to bash her head in. But what I want to know is what happened to the zombie in the window. So Matt fills us in. He sent his sister in to steal proof of the evils Umbrella was up to. And either it was her first day, or he never asked very many questions about her contact because he doesn't know who it was. If the contact had...
I can help you get the virus. I have access to security codes, surveillance plans, the works.
Why did Lisa need to go in at all? Couldn't the contact just sneak the files out much easier? And wouldn't this make more sense if in the end Matt was right and her contact is actually Spencer? She was betrayed by someone who wanted the virus for money. But this is where we get the first real sign of Alice taking over these movies, as in the end, she's the contact. So they both make it back to the Red Queen's chamber, not needing any codes to get in and with zombies close enough to grab them. So since Alice has officially taken over the movie, she is now in charge and decides they're going to turn the Red Queen back on, and finally, ask her what the hell is going on down here. There's 20 minutes of this movie left. So they turn the Red Queen back on and ask her how to get out of the hive when all the doors are blocked by zombies. Even though we just saw 2 people wander around on their own for quite a long time and make it back safely somehow. Over an hour in and with running time running short, they finally ask the only person who would know what happened and what do they do about it. They also rig a kill switch for the Red Queen.
She's gonna fry.
Don't remember the truth.
The Red Queen then spits out so much non-science bullshit I could spend all day on it. I have so many questions here. How would the T-Virus have any military applications at all? What good are uncontrollable zombies to an army? And no, your hair and fingernails do not keep growing after you're dead, said the super smart AI. And my personal favorite bit of BS. Started out airborne. How are they not all infected already? Or is it only airborne for the first few minutes? In which case, did the Red Queen really need to kill everybody? Couldn't she have just quarantined and killed those who may have breathed it in that time? I doubt it would have penetrated the entire hive in 5 minutes. This also brings up questions about the supposedly changing state of the virus. If infected blood is exposed to air, does the virus then become airborne again? Or is that a one-time event? And again, we have a now confirmed airborne virus being kept in a room with fucking air vents. Real viral storage and research rooms are kept under negative pressure. They require full hazmat suits with their own breathing units and sealed decon rooms to enter and exit from. And they don't have air vents. And then we have more bullshit. The already miles underground lab has underground tunnels that are the most obvious sewers I've ever seen. I can tell because of the dripping water, the standing water, the giant grates, and the lack of anything resembling maintenance equipment. After being told they have only 1 hour to get out of the hive or be trapped down here forever, they walk so freaking slowly. Until, of course, they get attacked. Thank God those grates have arm-sized holes cut in them for the zombies to reach through and grab people with. And either the zombies are super quiet, or everyone down here is deaf. Which after the firefight and explosion in close quarters they really should be, but also at least 2 or 3 of them should be dead. Why did the zombies attack Rain one by one and not attack her at all while she's fishing for her gun? And then they all somehow make it up onto the pipes with nobody being bitten? That's the one stunt in the movie the studio would not let Milla Jovovich do herself. They were worried one of the many dangling wires would wrap around her neck and strangle her. They apparently didn't give a fuck about strangling her stunt double. And they were fine with her doing the much more dangerous later in the movie. That not only looks like it hurt, it actually did. Fair play to them. All the bruises and cuts on Alice as they re-enter the mansion are 100% real. But back to being stupid. What is the point of dripping your blood on the zombies to antagonize them? It's not like they need motivation. But the pipes they're crawling along decide to break right when they get to the end, leaving Kaplan stranded. Sort of. And of course, Alice is the only one with a plan, as the highly trained operative is completely useless in this situation. So he decides he's gonna off himself rather than be eaten alive, but he has the Red Queen's kill switch. Why doesn't he toss it to them before he plans to end himself? Why doesn't somebody ask for it? So they leave him to die and we hear the gunshot. And then one of the biggest mistakes of the movie happens. We're immediately shown that he's still alive. He shot one of the zombies instead. He then escapes through a big-ass grate that's been behind him this whole time. Best of Umbrella. Really the best. But I mean it. Why give this away? Why not let us stay with the characters and think that he's dead? The only thing this does is spoil it for the audience. We then get the second biggest mistake in the movie as they show the liquor just randomly crawling on some walls, giving away his appearance again to the audience before the characters. That's not good.
Don't remember the truth.
That is the single most fitting line in this entire series. Why do Alice's memories come back in pieces, but Spencer gets one big download? And he remembers, oh yeah, I'm the bad guy. I must immediately inform everyone of this so they can turn on me. This is beyond stupid for a bad guy who is supposedly pretty smart. He knows what his plan was now. He knows where the virus is. So why not keep playing dumb and use the extra bodies to help him get out of here? If he has to, he can off them on the train once they get it moving. And how is he not infected if the virus is airborne and he was in the same room as it?
Don't remember the truth.
Showing us a door sealing after he leaves does not make this less stupid, and in fact only makes the air vents more stupid. And yes, I know the notes don't match at all. Moving on. So Spencer has spied on Alice meeting with Matt's sister and learned of her plan to steal the virus and expose Umbrella, and then decided to take the very big risk of stealing it himself so he could sell it. Apparently never once asked Alice if she wanted to join his sell it and be rich plan. And if Alice was planning to steal the actual virus, not just proof of its existence, what was she going to do with it afterwards? So they're in the flooded lab where the virus and antivirus were first kept, and Spencer has a gun on everybody. He asks Alice if she wants to join his evil plan. She says no, and neither of them look like they care. Why does the zombie in the water wait so long to rise and attack somebody? And how does Spencer not hear her rising out of the water and approaching behind him? And apparently nobody in front of him even sees her because none of them change their expression at all or give any sign that there is a zombie just a few feet away.
I've been a bad, bad girl.
Having a child say this line in any accent is one of the worst things in this movie. They originally dubbed over the British actress with an American actress, believing the British accent was too hard to understand. They then changed it back because the American girl sounded, and I quote, too sexy. It wasn't the accent, Mr. Writer-Director. It was the line. Why does Spencer take the antivirus off the train and start shooting up on the platform? He could have gotten on the train, left the others stranded, then shot up and made an escape. He dies only because they need to show off the liquor. And what is this? It has no eyes, it doesn't know it's being watched, and if it did, it wouldn't care. And this.
You require the 4-digit access code.
They said Spencer shot out the locking mechanism. Having the code ain't gonna fix that. Also, an axe to the physical screen would do nothing to either shut up or stop the Red Queen. Why does the liquor leave Spencer's body in one piece? He looks relatively intact for a guy supposedly chewed on by a giant brain monster. And see? They're smart enough to get the train moving before reaching for the antivirus.
I'm not dead yet.
Nope, not dead for at least another 2 whole minutes. This is one of the most fuck you fake outs in movies. Why do this when she's just gonna be dead in a minute anyway? Lame. And I'm so glad they brought Kaplan back, just so the monster would have someone non-main character to eat at the end. And after it's eaten him, why doesn't it start mutating again? Or was that also a one-time thing? Why doesn't the liquor just rip its tongue off? It's pretty much severed by the pipe anyway. And what makes it catch on fire when it hits the tracks? And would that really kill it? Would it not keep running after them while on fire?
There is nothing else you could have done. The corporation's guilty here, not you.
No, movie. No. There is plenty else Alice could have done. And yes, she is guilty in all this. Her actions set the whole chain of events in motion. By reaching out to Matt and Lisa and planning to steal the virus or whatever, she set in motion Spencer's plan to steal and release it, which he ultimately did. So yeah, Alice has a big part to play in the guilt of all of this. But no one think too hard. Look, Matt is mutating. Quick, to the antivirus. But no, Umbrella has finally caught up with the plot. And they grab them both, saying they're going to put Matt in the Nemesis program, and that they're going to take Alice and test her to see if she's infected. We then have the tacked-on scene that was only done for sequel baiting and only after they were sure they'd be getting one, since it's done with way more money than the entire rest of the movie. So the entire city has gone to hell, and Umbrella just left Alice behind? and all the hospital staff just left the unconscious woman in the sealed room to fend for herself. And we just saw Umbrella capture her, and they said they wanted to do tests on her, so why would they just leave her? And why is she in a local hospital? I doubt the local Stitch-em-up has technology that will test for the T-virus. And isn't Umbrella trying to keep all this secret? Would they not take her to another secret facility to test her there, and keep all this contained and in-house? And yes, you can totally see her vagina when she falls off the table. Another thing that's always bothered me. Look at her shoulder here. Notice the fresh-looking scar and stitches that are still bleeding? But remember this? That's one of the first shots after Alice wakes up in the shower. She's had this scar the entire movie. So what the fuck? And bullshit that an electronic card lock can be opened by poking at it with a hollow needle. Also, I'm pretty sure she should have been electrocuted. She somehow gets out of that building without encountering any zombies or survivors, and without thinking to put on clothes or shoes. What's with the blood pouring out of the windows? Did someone get eviscerated and then slide down the outside of the building? And we're told in the second movie this is only 12 hours after the events of the Hive. So no way are there newspaper headlines about this, or this much chaos and destruction in 12 hours. And again, we have a super wide shot of a super crowded busy street, and there is not one undead or survivor anywhere in sight. In the next movie, we will see scenes of this same time when there's a lot of people still around, when there's a lot of people still alive and chaos everywhere. It's very active. But that's the end of the movie, but not the end of this review. It's time for... We kick off with 2 camera vision onlys, for the characters not seeing the zombies when they're right in front of them in the sewer, and for no one reacting to the zombie behind Spencer in the lab and for him not hearing it. Then it's sexism first, like you didn't see that coming, for not 1 but 2 naked Mila Jovoviches, one of which answers the question, does she shave or wax? I was going to award a 3rd for the dress Alice is in, but the fact is she's got shorts under it and wears a jacket over the top most of the time, so I'll give the dress a pass. This time. I saw that movie too, for copying scenes from Day of the Dead. We have a very rarely awarded justified jump scare for the first zombie we see revive in the flooded lab. We have 2 winners of the Jaws 4 award for James Purefoy and an uncredited Jason Isaacs, both way too good to be in this series, which is probably why they're only in the first one. We have a record 5 hello my name is for Alice going unnamed in the entire movie, and for everyone that's killed in the laser corridor. 3 cases of If I Only Had a Brain. 1 for the Red Queen, supposedly super intelligent AI that's too stupid to tell anyone on the outside to keep the doors closed. And for Umbrella's unfathomably stupid response to the Red Queen's actions, and for their virus handling and containment protocols. We have a combination, I am Supergirl, for Rain and Alice. This becomes a lot more literal for Alice as the series goes on. Coupled with breaking the mold for having the 2 women kick way more ass than all the men combined. We have multiple wait your turns for them being surrounded many times, but having the zombies still attack one by one rather than just piling on or swarming them like they did when JD was killed. Perhaps the most deserved scientific facepalm ever for how the virus works, coupled with a Stolsoff award for how the virus escapes. And lastly, it's We Are Who We Are for this movie being very self-aware, as were the people making it. I cannot recommend strongly enough listening to the commentaries. I am listening to the actor's track as I edit this, and it is blowing my mind how much they say in it that came true in the 15 years of this series' run. At one point, Michelle Rodriguez even says it would be interesting to look back at this movie in 15 years. Though sadly her prediction that we'd all be watching holograms instead of flat screens by now has not come true. I am InsaneLayne, and that was the first Resident Evil movie. 1 down, 5 to go, bye-bye. But wait just a minute. I have been following this series for its entire 15-year run, and I ain't the only one because someone has been updating the IMDb trivia pages now that the 6th movie has come out. So as I was writing this, I was rereading the trivia for the first and other movies, and something new and definitely odd caught my eye. What? No way, what? Roger Ebert reviewed this movie. Roger Ebert. I had to find this, and I did. And then I found something really unexpected. The name Marsha Thompson. Yeah, see for yourself. Ebert, in his official review in 2002, states not one, not two, but three names for the main character. Alice, which we know from the end credits, Yanis Prospero, which would be her name in promo material only for the second movie, and Marsha Thompson, which is not a name from any of the movies or the games, and it would never be said on screen, or as far as I know, used in promo material. And in 15 years of researching and following this series, I've never heard it before. In the accompanying article, Ebert says this was stated on IMDb at the time, meaning back in 2002. Because it's certainly not there now, and I don't recall ever seeing it, but I didn't have internet in 2002. But it is possible to use the internet to time travel, so that is what I have done. I have delved deep in the past to find the Resident Evil trivia page from March of 2002. And lo and behold, I failed. I have tried. I have looked everywhere I can think to look. So I guess this is a question no one living or undead can answer. Unless you know Paul W.S. Anderson and are somehow watching this. In which case, please, just ask him. Who the fuck is Marsha Thompson?